Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC 306. Dvalishvili versus O'Malley.
Let's go!
Merab. Dvalishvili. AJ, you try saying that.
Merab. Dvalishvili.
There you go. Not
quite
quite
bad,
there.
I've been practicing, man. With enthusiasm. Merab. Kebab.
Well, your
Just
practice.
gonna call him MB, Money in the Bank.
Your practice
Ooh,
has not
there
gone
you go,
so
man.
well, AJ, because you still didn't quite hit it. Money in the bank, Fred.
I got it, man.
Money in the bank.
'Cause he's gonna cash in this weekend, man. He's gonna be the champ.
Ooh, Freddie making
Ooh,
an early
big words,
prediction.
man.
Freddie
Jesus,
dropping
right off
it.
the bat, man.
Bringing the heat, Fred.
Woo.
Take it easy, man. My goodness.
The horses are out.
Whew. Whew.
The Blue Bonnets is back.
Freddie hot sauce over
Remember the
here.
Blue Bonnets? Remember
Yeah.
Blue Bonnets?
Of course.
Oh, yeah, don't. You were too young, man.
I went. I bet on horses there.
Hey, what? With who? Ted Teven?
No, he wasn't there. Morency was there though. With Morency.
What?
Yeah. That's
The
right.
Rage Machine, man.
That's right.
Jesus, man.
I bet on horses at Blue Bonnets with a bunch of people from the radio station way back in the day when we had fun radio events. In the Green Avenue times.
Those are gone,
Things
man.
were better.
Must have been fun times, man, for real.
It was fun times. In the early days. Early 2000s, you know? 2005, 2006. Things were fun back then on the radio. Wasn't so many podcasts
then?
out there either. Not too many podcasts, if any. It was a whole different ball game back then, AJ. And I am old enough to remember it and to have lived through it all. Okay? Talking about how young I am. I'm getting old, AJ. I got a bad back. I'm feeling old, believe me.
This has been Dave's week, man. Bad back, Dave, man.
Yeah. I'm messed up. Everybody's kind of banged up around here, so.
Same age as Burns, man. He has a bad back, bad hair. You've got a bad back, but your hair's pretty good, man. You've got that. What's his name there? You know, will the real Slim Shady please stand up, guy?
You talking about Eminem?
Eminem, man.
You saying I look like Eminem?
A little, yeah.
That's what
Totally
Alan
Eminem,
would say.
man.
Alan would be like, I look like Eminem's like shitty brother, you know?
Wish
A
version.
little shady, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Timu version Eminem. It's not cool, man. I don't like that. It's mean to me. Don't say these things about me. Oh, man.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Wooka wooka.
I like his new song, by the way. Houdini is very nice, man.
Yeah, I think it's aimed
The
at
video
you.
is pretty good too.
It's all right. It's kind of fun.
What?
It's kind of fun. He doesn't have the same. He doesn't hit the same as he used to. You know? It just, you know, he's very good technically at rapping. I'm an Eminem fan, but I feel like, you know, it's just, it hasn't been the same since before. You know? He's aged. He's kind of aged out of it. Eminem, sober is like not that exciting. Like when Eminem was young, when he had the bleach blonde hair, he was on drugs, he was beefing with Ja Rule, he was hanging out with 50 Cent, he was going absolutely nuts. That Eminem was fantastic. Like the real Slim Shady, The Way I Am, that Eminem was the man. I saw that Eminem perform. The Marshall Mathers LP, when his second album came out, I was like front row at the Bell Center seeing Eminem getting pushed right up against the guardrail, and Eminem came out in the Jason mask and the overalls and the chainsaw, and he was like right there. It was incredible. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. They weren't going to let him across the border. Like Eminem back then was special. Like Eminem now doesn't really work the same for me. But I'll tell
Listen,
you.
at least there's M&Ms. Listen, at least there's M&Ms to eat, man. That's the only good thing in a
Sure.
package. But I
You know,
understand.
Fred, do you remember a time when you couldn't go to an MMA show without hearing Eminem at least like 4 or 5 times for the walkout songs for the fighters? I remember a time when Eminem was the most popular fighter entrance artist for anybody. It was constant Eminem. Every fighter came out to a different Eminem song, sometimes the same Eminem song.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
true.
big.
Lose yourself.
Tito Ortiz came out to one for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Lose yourself. Isn't that the title?
I don't think that was the one.
No.
Well, that was
Maybe it
one.
was-
That was a big one.
Mhm.
That Lose Yourself. That was the, you know, the 8 Mile song from that movie. Eminem was so big they made a movie about his life and he starred in it. You know what I mean?
That's big, man. That's big.
That's big, man. He was really
Kinda like
big
Conor
at the
big.
time. But they're not making that movie today because it'd be boring.
It's only 2 miles now.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
not
I
many
understand.
miles.
It happens.
The miles.
No,
yeah.
not many miles. You know,
I do like Eminem though. I
I
do like him.
walk 500 miles for you. That's about it. But his song is pretty good, Dave. If I like it, it must be good.
Look, Lior's in the chat.
Yeah.
Lior likes it. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I thought the video was fun. Like, I think it's good. I think that, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't like his new stuff as much as I like his old stuff. Like, I would still rather listen to
Could
his
it be a
first
you issue?
2 or 3
instead of an
albums than his
Eminem?
current stuff. Yeah, it might be me. But I don't think it is me, Fred. Come on. Like, at a time,
Because
Eminem was
me,
the
my
biggest
opinion
artist
of
in the game.
Eminem, you see, like it, everybody perceives it differently. To me, Eminem, it's only the first 2 albums. After that, I went like, he's not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
After the second album, I was like,
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I think you're about right. I think you're about right on that. Like, the Slim Shady LP and then the Marshall Mathers LP were incredible, you know?
Excellent.
And then he did, I think it was the Eminem show after that, and it was kind of like, yeah, this is still, you know, there, but and then he did, I think, Encore or something afterwards, and you're like, all right, dude, it's kind of over. Like, technically, he's still there, but as far as saying the right things and catching the right moment, he kind of lost it, right?
Well,
But
lost
as a
himself.
rapper, like, technically, the way that he rhymes words and the speed and all of that and the metaphors and how clever the raps are from a technical standpoint is fantastic. Eminem actually has a song out with LL Cool J, like a new song that's
Ooh.
really good. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. I doubt you have, AJ.
No.
Maybe Fred, you caught that one. LL and Eminem have a new song out, and it's like, it's
I'm
pretty hard.
surprised LL is still rapping, honestly.
I mean, it sounds like Eminem
like how
wrote
old is
everything in the
LL,
song.
man? LL has to
I
be
thought he
close
was
to
dead.
60 now.
LL Cool
He's older than
J.
me.
Ladies love.
Didn't he come
Yeah,
to
he's
Montreal and I
over
went to go
50.
see him?
LL James
I went with
Todd
Muscles
is
Marco. I think we went to see
56.
LL Cool J.
56
I was up front and
and
center with him.
looking fantastic still. I mean, come on.
All natural.
Who cares? The guy is a beast.
Rogaine,
LL
Viagra.
Cool J, man. He's a cool guy.
Steroids.
I like him. And the song with Eminem is really good. It's like, ooh, LL. LL is one of the greatest rappers of all time. Kids today don't recognize that LL was like
Okay.
the man.
Okay, you want like at jiu-jitsu, man? So many of these kids don't even know Mama said knock you out. Like I'll tell them like,
What?
and I'll try to sing it to them, and they look at me like, "No, man, I like never heard it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Damn."
Nah.
You should
I mean,
play it in
Mama
the
said
school while
knock
you're
you
rolling,
out.
man.
I have
Come
no
on, man.
idea. I was talking to a kid the other day, like a 20-year-old kid. He was like, I was like, yeah, like Ric Flair. He's like, who? I'm like, what do you mean? What? You don't know who Ric Flair? Woo, Nature Boy. No idea. I was like, what?
Dave,
Pulled up
it
a
happens,
picture.
man.
I pulled up a picture of Nate, like full robed, decked out. He's like, whoa, who's that? I was like, that's a Nature Boy. It's impressive, no? He's like, yeah, he looks pretty cool. I was like, yeah, he's very cool. I mean, don't read in too much of what he's done, but just the overview. He looks cool, doesn't he?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like nowadays, like talking about MMA. I talk to like some of the kids that are into it now. But if
Yeah.
you say names like Rampage Jackson, they're
Yeah.
like, who?
Yeah.
Like it's what?
They don't
Rampage
know.
Jackson, man.
They don't
Vanderlei
know.
Silva? What?
I
They're
talked
like,
to
"Who's
some of
that?"
these guys,
You know?
some of these guys in the gym, and I go, oh, yeah, George St. Pierre. And they're like, yeah, I heard of him.
Yeah.
And then I go, yeah, Patrick the Predator Cote. And they're like, and I go, David
Doesn't make
Loazo.
sense.
And they're like, and I'm like, yo, these are pioneers of the sport that made the name
Big time,
for
man.
Montreal in the UFC. Like, these guys, just as important as GSP in a way, for Quebec MMA, for Montreal MMA, doing what they did. I mean, GSP, obviously the greatest of all time. But, the fact that a lot of these young guys who aren't that young, they've got no concept of the Predator or, they've heard of Anderson Silva, but they don't really know. But they don't know some of these guys that really paved the way for MMA, especially around here for martial arts. It's kind of wild, man.
And when you think about it, Dave, like back in the days, the Predator Cote, when he was fighting, he was so popular in the U.S. Everybody knew like Cote, and George wasn't even like a thought at that point. He was actually, I think, he was co-maining an event, and George St. Pierre was on the undercard. This was like back, I forgot what it was, like so way back. And that's the thing, like, you know, you had guys that really were pioneers, like you said, David Loiseau, man. Like, holy smokes. And there's so many guys, man. Like, there's so many, and it's a shame. And when you start talking about guys like George St. Pierre, when kids come like, oh, I've heard of him, it's like, I freak out when I hear that. I'm like, holy smokes, man.
Well, what do you expect, man? They didn't see him fight.
You know?
It's not their fault.
And that's what, it's not their fault. And like 10 years from now, they could be saying the same thing about Conor, being like, oh, God, I heard about that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And it's incredible, man.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
it's like me.
Anybody that started watching MMA in the last 5 years pretty much goes like, what's the deal with this Conor thing?
Exactly.
It's true. Good point.
It's like me when I'm talking about Mike Tyson. Like, you guys aren't that much older than me, but you're old enough to remember the Mike Tyson that was an ass kicker, and I'm too young to remember that. I just remember the Mike Tyson that was kind of cartoonish. So when we talk about that Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, you guys are like, "Oh, it's Tyson. He's gonna da-da-da," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see it because my whole life he's been this kind of movie star type, not really, you know, bit the ear, not really serious boxer." But you guys remember it differently, you know. But that's how fighting goes, guys. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. People forget. People, you know, like I saw Sean O'Malley. Let's bring it full circle to UFC 306, shall we? I saw Sean O'Malley get, you know, interviewed. He was doing his media this week, and he was asked because it's Mexican Independence Day, and it's this whole thing about Mexican fighters and what did Dana White say? A love letter to Mexican fighting and combat culture. That's what he's planning to do at UFC 306. And O'Malley was asked, who is your favorite Mexican fighter? Some of your favorite Mexican fighters throughout the UFC. And he couldn't really come up with any. And the first one he could come up with was Kelvin Gastelum and his fight with Israel Adesanya, which was pretty good.
Jesus.
But I was just surprised that he went out with Kelvin Gastelum as his first kind of jump at like Mexican or Mexican-American, you know, MMA fighters and UFC fighters. Because to me, you know, we're guys who have kind of maybe more of a perspective than Sean O'Malley. We're older than Sean O'Malley. We've been watching MMA probably longer than Sean O'Malley, right? Which is kind of weird to say. He's a UFC champion, but we've probably been around MMA longer than him at this point. I see the great Mexican fighters as, you know, like, to me, that's an easy question. You know, I'd go Cain Velasquez, Tito Ortiz, the Diaz brothers, Gilbert Melendez, Diego Sanchez. I mean, there's so many great Mexican-American UFC fighters to choose from. It was just funny to me that O'Malley went, Kelvin Gastelum. I was like, okay, that's a weird one, but all right. To me, you say Cain right away. Like, to me, you go Mexican-American, great fighter, UFC, Cain Velasquez. Because he was man. Like, he wore that
Miguel Torres
on his chest.
Was Miguel Torres Mexican?
Yeah.
That's the name that comes to my head. That's the name that comes to my head.
There were a lot, right? A lot. And apparently Dana White is going to pay tribute to a lot of them with this event on Saturday night. We'll do the watch-along for UFC 306 here, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Ringside Report Network, Saturday night. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the fights. We got a good, solid pay-per-view headlined by a very good main event. Merab Dvalishvili, 17-4. 10 straight wins now in the UFC, coming off a decision victory over Henry Cejudo back in February. He takes on the very popular 29-year-old world champion Sean O'Malley. Sugar, 18-1, avenged his only loss in his last fight with a decision win over Marlon Vera. A lopsided 5-round decision back in March. But this is the fight that people were saying needed to happen. People were calling for Merab Dvalishvili to get a title shot back when Aljamain Sterling was a champion. But Merab and Aljo, training partners, didn't want to fight each other. Merab beat everybody but Aljo and Sean O'Malley in that UFC bantamweight division. And at this point, seems like the obvious choice for next up. My only question is timing. Did this fight come at the right time for Sean O'Malley? Or did this fight come at the right time for Merab Dvalishvili? And I feel like this is the right time for O'Malley. And maybe not the right time for Merab. Because
why?
Because I feel like
I want to hear
Merab's peak may have happened already. I feel like the best Merab was maybe, and like I'm splitting hairs here, like a year and a half ago. You know, like the Merab against Cejudo, to me, didn't look as good as the Merab against Petr Yan. So there's the element of, I think if Merab got this fight against O'Malley maybe a year or two ago, he would have won. But here, coming up on September 14th, 2024, this version of Merab and this version of O'Malley, I feel like O'Malley has caught up enough that he's going to be able to get the job done. I feel like O'Malley hasn't seen his peak, is continuing to evolve, and I was more impressed with O'Malley in his last fight than I was maybe with Merab in his last fight. And there's an element of that going on. Now, there's something with the Sean O'Malley magic, the Sugar Show. He's got something there. But Merab is a dog. I mean, Merab is going to come in and chase a takedown, and he's hard to put away. And, I mean,
that's the
I don't
thing.
think this is an easy fight to pick by any stretch, but I just feel like, I don't know, I give O'Malley the edge just based on, I think maybe the reach advantage too. I think the strategy is going to be on point for O'Malley. I think his fight IQ is a little bit higher than Merab's. I think there's just a few of the intangibles that are going to get O'Malley through this fight. I'm not sure he finishes Merab. I think it's possible if everything lines up perfectly and he finds the right shot and Merab makes a mistake or overexposes himself a little bit, I think O'Malley might be able to knock him out. Maybe. But I think O'Malley probably wins a decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think O'Malley wins every round. I think he'll probably lose like an early round, like maybe the first and second, and he'll have to come back, and you know. But I think he may start a little slow. I don't know. I think it'll be a decision.
But that's the problem there, Dave.
I see it being a close decision where O'Malley is able to keep it on his feet and score enough to win the fight. So I'm going to go with O'Malley. I think a knockout is possible. I think a decision is more likely. That's just how I see it playing out. But Fred, I know you're picking Merab, and I want to let you time to give your reasons why here. I know AJ's jumping on the O'Malley bandwagon here with me, but
yeah, well, it's sort of
like it's a tough fight. It's a really good fight, and I'm very excited for it. You know, because it's like it's a tough fight for O'Malley, but it's also a tough fight for Merab. Like it's not an easy fight for either guy. These two are the very best at 135 right now, and we're gonna see a hell of a show. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think the odds are like almost even, plus 110 I see for Merab. I'm not sure what O'Malley is, but you know, it's close to a pick 'em fight. And I love how you break it down. That's a good way to break it down. The only thing I would add is, and this is good for both guys, is it feels like both guys haven't been that active recently. Like if you look in the last 12 months, they've only each had one fight. So that a little bit bothers me. So yeah, it might give us a little bit of a slow start where guys are going to want to study themselves, and that might go into the to play for Sean O'Malley, because I think Merab has to come out strong and impose his type of game plan, because if he's not able to, O'Malley's going to pick him apart slowly standing up. So, Merab right at round 1 needs to be aggressive and in O'Malley's face, I feel. But that's the thing, being inactive a little bit, who knows how they'll both come out. That's the part that's going to interest me. But I'm just a fan of Merab also. His wrestling, his when he comes into a fight, like he just goes in with a plan and he executes it. And that Cejudo fight was a dominating win for him. That Peter Yan fight also was a very good win for him. So his recent 2 fights are very impressive. And O'Malley, look, man, great win against Aljamain. He stopped him. You can't take anything off. Then he defeated Vera and he won. He definitely won that fight. But a lot of people felt he was getting, maybe not an easy matchup, but a matchup to help him build his legacy. So this is the real matchup for O'Malley. So I'm going to go with Merab, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised if if this fight stays standing up, of course, O'Malley's going to have some success and it's probably going to win. So I'm banking on Merab being able to bring a lot of clinching game, couple of takedowns, ground and pound, cage work, and make some damage from there.
And to be honest, guys, I was gonna disagree with Dave about this, like O'Malley's slow start, but Freddie brought it out perfectly. If Merab is dominant from the beginning, and this is a fight that is really hard to say. Whoever comes out more dominant in the first round, I think is gonna take the pace of this fight. And if Merab does impose his strength and whatnot and gets that takedown, because his stand-up is sloppy. It's not, he doesn't do a lot of damage at all in fights. And he's only had 1 KO, and that was against Marlon Moraes. That's his only KO of his career. So if it's a stand-up fight and O'Malley comes out not slow, but very, very strong and really gets in his face, I think he's going to beat Merab. But like Fred said, if it's the opposite, it's going to be a hard night for O'Malley. But when you look at the striking game, there's no doubt about it. Who has the better striking accuracy? O'Malley. Who's got a 72-inch reach? O'Malley. 68 for Merab. Yeah. The thing with Merab is, when Freddie was talking about Marlon Vera back in 2020, that's his only loss, and we saw that loss. It was a weird loss because he had a balloon foot. We saw that, and that was O'Malley, where I said he would have destroyed Vera at that fight. But unfortunately, his foot ballooned, and that was the end of the fight. But when he came back, man, he pulled off a dominant victory. That's the thing with Sugar. He's not just a fad. He's not just he was making more money as as a sort of celebrity in the making than his fighting skills. But right now, as Saturday coming up at 306, the guy has proven that he's a good fighter and a dominant fighter and a dangerous fighter. And I think you're right, Dave, about his IQ. His IQ is what stands. This guy is really smart as a fighter.
Now, AJ,
the
IQ, right. We have to talk about the IQ because O'Malley was asked about Merab's IQ, and his quote was fantastic, and I have a video to show. Fred's smiling. I don't know if he knows where I'm going with this. I think he does. O'Malley was asked about Merab Dvalishvili, and if he thinks he's actually stupid, because O'Malley apparently has been calling him stupid. O'Malley's response, he didn't know what ice was. He didn't know that if water got that cold, that it turned into ice. He jumped into ice on his head. So that's the person we're talking about. And for your entertainment, here is the video of Merab jumping into ice.
No way. Are you serious? And he does the sign of the cross? That's good?
Clunk.
No way.
Oh, what the hell, bro?
Jesus. Look at his head. You gotta be kidding me.
Look,
he's looking to see if there's any blood.
He would know. Oh, what happened, bro?
Look, there's a bird in the back
Laughing
coming
at
in for the
Merab.
pieces of meat that were left behind.
Let's see him fall
You gotta
again.
be kidding,
Let's
man.
see him do it again.
Face
Good
plant.
clunk. Ow!
Boom!
Oh, no.
Jackass!
It's like
You
America's
gotta
Funniest
be.
Home Videos. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, maybe, yeah, Sugar's got a point there.
What happened there?
That's, what happened?
I don't understand. I mean, what was he thinking?
He's not thinking. That's
I
the
mean,
problem.
what was Tony Ferguson thinking when he kicked the post? You know, sometimes these guys are not the smartest guys out there.
I mean, Merab's been doing some weird stuff going into the fight too. I mean, there was the cut, right? The stitches above his eye. There was something else that he did that was weird.
Was there any staff involved?
He's been acting strange. Oh, yeah, there was a little staff possibly, right, that he had? Right, with Merab?
What happened now?
Yeah. Remember there was a picture I showed you? And he looked like he had staff in his arm?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. He had like that
Yeah, he had a big
piece
hole.
of rock, remember?
Yeah. He had a big hole in his arm. He's either doing heroin or he's got staff. And also, you know, you mentioned the odds, which I find interesting, because last week when we did the show, this was a pick'em fight. This was even money. -110 on either side. And now the odds have shifted a little bit towards Sean O'Malley, -135 for the champion to retain, +110 Merab Dvalishvili, the slight underdog here going into it. So the money is siding with O'Malley going into the fight. Like people are putting their money down with Sean O'Malley. Makes sense to me.
And it makes sense. It makes sense. Like I said, you know, if Merab is not able to push the pace and push that hard, you know, you got a guy like Sugar that has like 12 KOs. You know, you better be prepared, man. At 5'6", man, the guy is right. He's like above you at 5'11" with that wingspan, man. That reach is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and his kicks are like right on the mark. His striking accuracy is like in the high 60%. I mean, you know you're going to get clipped. If Merab can't pull it off in that first round and get that takedown, it's going to be I think it's going to, you know, I think Sean O'Malley's going to have his 13th knockout, man. And that's going to happen on Friday. On Saturday, I should say. But, you know, it might go the distance, you know, but I doubt it. I think Sugar's coming, and he's gonna put on a clinic, and he's gonna put on a show, and this is his night, you know.
Okay, AJ's going with O'Malley to get a finish. Freddie going with Dvalishvili, and I'm going with O'Malley by decision. How about the co-main event? Alexa Grasso taking on Valentina Shevchenko. This is the trilogy fight. They coach the Ultimate Fighter against each other. It's the Women's Flyweight Championship on the line. The last time they went at it, it was a draw. Before that, it was a big shock when Grasso tapped out Valentina Shevchenko back in March of 2023. They haven't fought since September of last year, a full year later, and we're back at the Sphere.
Yeah.
Grasso.
C'est pas bon. Yeah, it's not good, Dave.
What do you mean?
It's not good. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Valentina, she's not the same fighter that we used to know in the past. She doesn't even come to the same level of striking. She's 36 years old. She was on the top for a while, but that was a while back. And the problem is that there's a lot of things that she's looking at personally. Like, she wants to be a mom. She has more focus on her after career than her current career. And coming against someone like Grasso, man, you know, who's already submitted her, you know, and Valentina, like, you know, she had a split decision win against Talia Santos. She's just, her time has passed, in my opinion. I think this is a fight just to, you know, get a bit more money, and I think she's going to walk away from the sport at this point. She wants to be a mom, man. You can't do both at that age, right? Let's be honest.
I didn't know that was a deal.
Yeah, she wants to be a mom. So, yep, and that you know, that could, to me, is a big factor of this is, you know, probably her last fight, dude. You know, you can't be a mom and go through the rigorous training camp, you know, and you know, you just can't. You know, at
We
36
don't know
years
much
old,
about
it's a different game.
Valentina's personal life. I didn't know she wanted to be a mom. Is there like a
Yeah.
Mr. Valentina, a Mrs. Valentina? What's
There
the
must
story
be
there?
Mr. Valentino. You know,
Is there? What's the
the
deal?
lover.
I mean, you
I
don't
don't know.
necessarily need a man to have a child. She's got money. She's got means. She can do whatever she wants. Maybe she doesn't
Good
have
point.
anyone in her life. She just wants to be a single mom. Maybe that's possible. I just don't know much about her, you know? We don't hear much about her personal life and how she lives outside of her fighting life.
Valentina
it seems like she
box.
travels, she fights, and she kills, you know? And it's like, all right.
And
She
she
shoots
dances.
guns, you know? That's all we know about
She
her.
has
She
great
shoots
dancing.
guns,
No,
and she kicks, and she's good at dancing. and-
she dances, dude. Her
I know.
fantastic dancing.
Yeah, I know, but the personal life, like, I never heard much about. I didn't know
Well, that's
what was
the
going
thing,
on there.
and that's
I
what-
just
and
assumed
that's
she was just fighting and just, you know, focused 24/7. I didn't realize.
and she was,
had
Dave, and she
another life.
was, and you're absolutely right. That was Valentina, like, you know, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's not the same Valentina that we see today. Let's be honest. And you
'Cause-
know, like if she's focused on something outside of the UFC, which is like now that she's talking about it,
Yeah.
you know,
Because, you know, the countdown shows, right? I mean, they show usually the home life and everything. And with Valentina, it was always just like, I train, I shoot guns, I do this. It's like, oh, damn, okay. Most of the
Yeah, she's a
fighters, you
killer.
see them like at home. It's like, there's the kid, there's the wife, there's the, you know, whatever. On the countdown shows, the embedded, you know. You see Valentina over the years, and it was never that. It was always just like, here is Pavel, here is my sister, we're shooting guns. And it's like, all right, cool. So we'll see a different side of Valentina maybe going forward. We'll see, but I think AJ, you're right. At 36 years old, I think she's maybe, you know, coming towards the end. Alexa Grasso, just 31, just entering her prime. Grasso won the first one. I think Grasso won the second one too. It was a draw, they said, split draw, but I thought
Yeah,
Grasso
but it was-
won a decision.
yes,
I thought
exactly.
she should have walked away with a win. I think she'll get the decision win here over Valentina. I think it'll be a Grasso decision. You know, it is what it is.
You know, and
I'm
you're
not
always-
super
and
hyped
Dave,
about it.
And then when you hit that 35 mark, you know, it's always like becoming the wrong side of like any competitive sport, especially in MMA. So like, it's gonna be hard, man.
Unless you do steroids, lots and lots of steroids, baby. Fred,
TRT,
we need to
baby.
get on the gas, bro. Let's do it.
Get it, Freddie. Get it,
TRT.
Johnny. Get us some TRT.
HGH.
Yeah. I want to get on whatever Gordon Ryan's doing.
Vito
Let's do
Belfort
that.
is on. Yeah, Gordon Ryan, Vito Belfort, that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. Whatever Vito's on.
Obviously, Burns wasn't on it last week. I'll tell you that much. But hey,
I was gonna say I want to get on what Shannon Sharp's on. You heard of Shannon Sharp this week?
Oh, Unk. What happened? What's he doing? Did he do that on purpose to like raise his profile? He
It's
must
funny you
have.
say that.
Huh?
Funny you say that.
Why?
That he might have done that on purpose.
I mean, look,
Why,
Shannon
was there
Sharp.
was there a lot of rumors on him? What did
No,
Mike
I never
Hibbs-
heard that. I never heard that.
What did
I
Mike
never knew
Hibbs
about
say
that.
about him?
I didn't know about that. All I know about is this. I'm familiar with Shannon Sharp. I'm peripherally aware of him, right? He used to play football. He caught John Elway passes or something, right? Okay? I'm aware of him. I haven't really heard the name Shannon Sharp since that interview with Cat Williams. Cat Williams went on his show, blew up the internet. Everybody's Shannon Sharp show, Cat Williams. I don't know. I'm like, oh, Shannon Sharp has a podcast. That's interesting. And then everybody moves away from Shannon Sharp. Then all of a sudden, he does an Instagram live where you don't see anything. You see
I
like
disagree
a piece
with
of
that
table.
last part you say. Dave.
Huh?
I disagree with the last part you say. He's a big star. His show is very big.
I know,
Like the
but to
Cat
me,
Williams show was definitely the biggest one,
yeah.
but he's still a big podcast.
But what I'm saying is, this is the biggest thing to happen to his name since Cat Williams.
That's his Kim Kardashian moment.
Dog. AJ, do you know about what happened here?
no, I have no idea. I'm listening to you guys, and I'm trying to figure. I know Al Sharpton. I know
There-
like Sharpies.
So
I don't
there's
know,
an
like, what's
Instagram
going
live. I
on.
only heard I saw like a clip, like a 15-second clip, and I was like, geez, what is happening here?
Let me see
So-
the clip. Let me get
But
into
no,
it.
no, I'm not
here,
playing
you
it.
two
Listen,
guys,
don't know.
wait. Let me ask this question. You two guys are the Instagram experts. How
Yeah.
because from what I've been told, it's not that easy to go
No.
on Instagram Live. Like
No.
it's not you don't just throw. Like he said, he threw his phone on the sofa, and that Instagram
No,
Live
it's impossible.
started
No,
by
it's
itself.
impossible.
No
basically.
chance in hell.
No chance in hell because you
This
have
guy's
to actually.
saying he threw his
No,
phone
no.
on the sofa and then
Okay.
immediately began doing sex with a lady. Like, you throw your phone on the sofa, it goes Instagram Live, and then immediately there's stuff going on, and it goes on for a while, and then you, like, turn
He's
it off
bullshitting.
when you're done because you, what? How did it even work? I don't know how it worked. I don't know.
Look,
Like,
we
I
did-
didn't.
we- listen,
I didn't
Dave,
see
we've
the
done
whole
enough-
thing. I'm not looking for it. But what I understand is he had sex with a lady, and it was all heard on
taping it.
Instagram Live,
Well, it
and
makes
it was
sense.
quite
like, you know what the-
graphic, right?
Listen,
And at the
so
beginning,
what
he claimed to be hack, even though that you could clearly hear the women say, "Oh, Shannon."
And not many men are named Shannon. Let's be honest.
No.
Well, listen,
But
he had a
then,
good
like I
time.
say,
good
you
for
know,
him, man.
There was a lot of rumors about Shannon, so maybe it's his way of
Ooh,
quelling some
Oh,
rumors.
wait a sec.
damn.
What did he do that? What did he do that was like controversial compared to like all these only fans and all that kind of stuff? Like, what was the big deal? Was he like married? Like, what happened here? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, he's an ESPN analyst. You know, ESPN analysts shouldn't be having sex on Instagram.
What's the big deal?
Weren't those guys
AJ
on CNN doing the same
AJ,
thing
come
live
on.
a
What do you
couple of
mean?
times?
What's the big deal? Could you imagine if like, Fred like threw the, you know what I mean? And then you hear Fred like doing it. We all be like, "Yo, Fred, what was with
Yeah,
that
man.
Instagram Live you just did, man? What the
That
hell?"
would be amazing. Our ratings would go through the roof, man. I think that's a good idea, actually. Johnny,
Oh, you
listen,
see, I
if
thought
Johnny's
AJ should be
listening,
the
we're gonna
one
have-
doing it. You know,
AJ
since-
should
Listen,
be the
I'll-
one doing it.
I'm in, man. I'm in.
'Cause
Listen,
if
just find me the
'cause
lady.
if we could believe anybody's gonna make that kind of
Now-
technological error, it would be AJ.
Do we need
What?
to get a stylist for AJ? A stylist named Hollywood?
Yeah, that's
to
a good
hang
idea.
out with
I like
AJ?
that.
Because
Wait,
after
does
that, that's why
what do you mean?
maybe. I mean,
What are you
like
talking
Shannon used to hang out with Hollywood a lot.
Ooh,
A
a
dude
male
named Hollywood.
stylist named Hollywood.
Yeah, that was
Ooh,
a
so are we
stylist.
saying there were rumors about Shannon and Hollywood maybe doing Instagram lives together too?
No,
what?
there wasn't those type of rumors, but there was rumors of Shannon and Hollywood brought up by
Like, Hollywood
Mike
gets me
Epps and
nervous.
other guys.
Hollywood.
So like this story right now is helping Shannon's cred, and
Nothing
for a
wrong
guy
with
that for a guy that claims that it was all a mistake, he seems quite happy to talk about it on his show last night. You know, like,
Yeah, I saw
he must
him
have
and
got
Ocho
so many
Cinco
ratings,
talking
man.
about it. I
Yeah.
saw a brief clip of that on Twitter today. I was like, oh, he's talking
put,
about
put
it.
me in
He's
the
like,
group that's saying it's staged. Shannon,
yeah, it seems
Shay,
fake.
Shay.
Shay
Well,
Shay.
Fred, listen. Me and Dave have done a lot of like live Instagram moments, and let me tell you, it requires many steps before you go live, and then when you go live, like
I tried to do
you
it
gotta-
today. I couldn't figure it out. Like I went on Instagram and I'm never on Instagram. And I'm like,
Well,
how do you go live? I don't even
Yeah.
know.
Now that
like,
dude's
I
lying.
didn't s- Listen, I didn't see the video, but can you actually see them? Because
No,
think about where the
only
camera.
audio. Only audio.
Okay, so that makes sense because he probably went live, and what he did is throw it on like whatever the bed or something because the camera is facing on the outside. So basically, I
He's
don't know
saying
how
he
to do it.
made
Like
live by accident, throwing
he
his.
could have done it.
Oh.
He could have done it by accident. Like he probably wanted to go live, or he wanted to take a picture or do a video, and the dummy went to the live part, and it actually went live. And then he threw the phone down, not thinking that it's on. It could really happen. So I could see that like being the mistake. But he was probably trying to go and videotape her, or like for his own pleasure, and not realizing that like his whole like Instagram world
Damn,
was like
man.
listening.
I don't know about
Shit
that.
can happen like
should-
that, Dave. We should try it, man. You'll see. I'll do it on Saturday.
Maybe don't.
I mean, listen, it's a scientific project. Let me try. I'm just saying, it'll be great for Ringside.
Yeah. So that was a weird thing that happened with that guy, but like, I don't know.
I think he honestly made a mistake because he didn't
If
know what he
he's
was doing,
trying
and he
to,
actually
like-
went on live.
That's sad to me. Like if he's trying to hide who he really is, that he goes through all these lengths to kind of mask it. Like if that's really going on, like if it was all fake, imagine staging that just because you don't want to admit that you, like, come on,
Listen,
bro.
people have done crazier
That
things,
is
Dave.
sad.
Let's be honest.
I hope that's not the case. Fred,
I
what'd
just
you
think the guy
send me?
actually. Listen, I have
you
to
a
see this
picture.
video. I'm very curious now, and I'll tell you. I'll listen to it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
analyze it, and then I'm gonna tell you. And then I'll give you a complete.
Why are you
like,
sending me this
fighting
picture of Shannon
breakdown.
Sharp looking all? Is this Shannon Sharp?
Yes,
Put
it
it
is.
on, man.
Why are you sending me this picture of him? What do you think this is supposed to mean? I don't even
Send it to me,
understand.
man.
Hey, man. I'm just
Dave,
sending
send
you
it to me.
picture, man.
Let me get on. Let's get on our feed here. Let's see this.
Dog.
What the hell is that?
You're a bad man. You're a bad guy, Fred. I didn't realize you were that bad. I'm gonna show the picture just to show the audience how bad Fred is.
Okay, let's do a Google search. Let's do a Google search together, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to search Shannon Sharp makeup.
What? Why?
Just do it, man.
There's your boy.
The Green Hornet, man, or the Green
Nice.
Horny.
Nice
Green onesie.
bag there.
It's a nice bag, actually. I kind of like it.
Sharp makeup. Why are we looking at it? Ooh. Oh.
Show that, Dave. Now I'm curious.
Is that real?
Yes, it is.
I gotta see
They
this
Put him
now,
on
man.
first
Come on,
take
man.
like that.
No, he didn't.
I'm telling you.
No. No. Really?
What the hell is that?
Hmm.
He looks like a Mugatu, man, in like Zoolander.
You know, he looks like he kind of
What
looks like
is
that that guy, RuPaul. You know that
You sure it's not
RuPaul?
RuPaul? It could be.
You know what I mean?
What's
RuPaul.
up with that?
You know
Poor
RuPaul?
guy has no neck. Of course, who doesn't know RuPaul?
RuPaul, but like no makeup. You know, just the dude RuPaul. This guy looks a bit
Look at that
like
handsome
Shannon
fella.
Sharp, to be honest,
He
with the
does.
glasses.
Kind
You know
of,
what I mean?
Dave. You got a point there.
Know what I'm saying?
But what's up with that makeup?
And when you start looking like RuPaul, people are definitely gonna ask questions.
Is that like a fake pinch there? It looks like
Freddie,
they got, like,
what are you doing to this show, man?
I'm not sure what happened.
Damn, Shannon Sharp. I didn't realize you had a face like that. It's very impressive. But most of that is not makeup. It's a little beard he has, a little pinch, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That
I
pinch
think
looks
it's
fake.
the
Dave.
makeup before they go on the air. Like they all wear makeup, but whoever did his
That's-
that day, man, really did him wrong.
Yeah, big time, man.
Yeah. I don't really care if Shannon Sharp, like, what he does with him. You know, I just, like, I find it funny that he would put that on Instagram. Like, here's a video of me having sex with a lady, and she seems to be enjoying it in a comical fashion. Like, it seemed, you know, like pornographic almost, you know, where you go, really?
Oh yeah, he asked her if she liked this D. You know, he asked her. So
I mean, it's not like unfathomable. Like, yeah, it could be happening. It's possible, but like, I don't know. There was something about it that just seemed put on in the short clip that I saw on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know, man.
Dude, looking at what this guy, I'm telling you right now, he fucked up. He had no idea that it was live. I'm just telling you right now, just based on what I've just witnessed in the last 2 minutes, this guy was probably wanting to take a picture or a video and went live. That's exactly what happened. He had no idea. And he couldn't get back because once it's live, man, it keeps going for like, how long was the video? It could have went for like 20, 30 minutes when you go live.
I think it was only like 50 seconds. Maybe he
'cause he-
realized, or I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, you know. He knows he fucked up. At that point there, you know you fucked up.
I
And
don't
you
know.
hope nobody was watching it.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. I don't care that much.
Basically,
I feel like
that's what he
I
is.
didn't
Didn't either.
realize
It
there was
was
like
funny, though.
another. Like, I didn't even realize there was another component to it, Fred, where he was maybe trying to convince people he wasn't a homosexual, which is kind of wild. Like, I didn't even know that
I've
that was
never
going
said
on.
that.
I mean,
I've
you
never
kind of
said that, Dave.
did, Fred. Let's be real. Like, it kind of seemed like that was a component to it. I didn't even realize. I thought the whole thing was like, oh, he's trying to get publicity, and that's why he's doing this, because everything's about getting more clicks and being more famous for guys like that, right? Yeah, we talked about the fights, Lior. Chill, bro.
Just went on a
Poor
tangent.
Lior, man. He's like, what kind of show is this, man?
Yeah, man. We did O'Malley, Merab. We did Grasso, Valentina. You want to do a
We did
parlay
it all,
now?
man.
Let's-a go. It's a me. Let's-a go. I mean, what are we doing here? AJ, you got a parlay for me?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's
Yo,
do the
wait.
parlay. You wanna go?
Before you do your parlay, I just have to say that the last 2 fight cards Team Dave has cashed in. Last 2 UFC
Yes.
fight cards. Last weekend, the weekend before, or it was 2 weeks before, or whatever. Crushed it. Okay?
Yep.
Crushed it. Last week, I
Antoinette
gave
won
you...
again.
Antoinette said she was going with my bets last week. I really hope she did. I
Yeah,
didn't. I forgot to
did.
put my money down. She did?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
She-
So I
she
gave
made
you
money
first
with,
fight. I gave you first fight, last fight. I gave you Petrosky. I thought he was going to be the opener. Turned out to be the second fight, but I called it my first fight, last fight parlay last week. Gave you Petrosky over Budka, and I gave you Brady over Burns in the main event. Brady did beat Gilbert Burns in a 5-round decision. Both fights cashed in. Team Dave cashes in. More than doubles your money last week. Another victory from Team Dave. And AJ, you picked Gilbert Burns. You probably picked some others that lost, maybe a couple that won, but you're
No,
probably
I
once
was
again
doing well,
didn't
man.
win.
It was only my
Doing
Burns
well,
that
but
went down.
Not well enough.
Well,
Not
you
as
know
good
what?
as
Burns
Dave.
started to do well at the end, like at the end, but it was just not enough. It didn't look like Burns of old, man. He didn't look in shape. You know, he just looked like weathered, and you know what? It looked like, you know, the tail end of his career, like showing on Saturday night. I was looking at that and I was like, man, you know, I really thought that he would be able to, you know, get the job done. And when I saw him like in that first round, I was like, Jesus, man, it's not going to be a good night for Burns. But a couple of times he was almost at the point where, oh, you might be able to submit him, and it didn't happen. But yeah, man, you know, it's a different game now. But the guys that are coming up on Saturday, they're all young. They're all prospects. You know, they're all like possible champions of the future. It's a different story. So my picks coming out on this Saturday
Give it to me.
are,
Give me your parlay.
Well, right
Let's see
off the
what you
bat-
got.
listen, I'm starting off the night right off the bat with Ronaldo Rodriguez over Ozzy Osbourne. So as soon as I saw Ozzy Osbourne, I was like, man, I love Ozzy. I love Black Sabbath, but he ain't looking too good. So Ronaldo
It's
is a
O'Day
beast, man.
Osborne, and
Yeah,
his
but Ozzy
opponent is
Osbourne.
Luis Rodriguez.
Ronaldo.
You said
Luis
Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ozzy Osbourne. Those are not the fighters' names, but close enough, I guess.
Close enough. But Rodriguez, man, grappling and whatnot is what's going to be his strong point. I think he's going to win by submission. So I'm going to go with Ronaldo Luis or Luis Ronaldo Rodriguez over Ozzy Osbourne. And then I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber. You know, anything that sounds like hell, you know, this guy could be like pretty dangerous. But at 15-1, he's going up against Ribovics at 13-1. I mean, this is going to be a tough one, but I think it's going to go to a decision. I think Zellhuber will take it. I could give you the breakdown why, but I'll just go through. Then I'm like, this is a hard one for me. Like, you know, I love Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega, when he came in, I was like, this guy's unstoppable.
Intrigued.
Like, you know,
I'm intrigued.
he's like with Brian Ortega, like, you know, 16-3 now, man. When he came out, he was like so phenomenal in his grappling. His grappling what stood up for me, and I was like, this guy's unstoppable. But he's going up against Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez, man, is just a star, and the star he keeps shining. This guy's gonna get to the top of the game. You know, he had that fight with I think it was with Ige, where he was last minute, and he didn't prepare for this fight at all. When you're going up against an opponent that, especially a guy like Dan Ige, is so dangerous, he still beat him. You know, he has 3 first-round finishes. I think Lopez is the future star, and he's gonna beat, you know, Brian Ortega, which is sad for me because it was hard. I'm a big Ortega fan, but I don't think it's going to happen on Saturday night. Then we're going to go right back to the Alexis Grasso. I think Valentina's time is done. You know, her priorities are somewhere else. I don't think she has like the capability to beat someone who's technically beat her twice. And we've seen that many times over through other fighters. It's hard to come back and beat someone who's beat you twice. And then I'm going to go with Sugar. I think Sugar is the future. He's the Conor in the making. And that's what's going to happen on Saturday night. You know, the Sphere is going to be spectacular, and I think O'Malley's going to shine. How do you like that?
Damn. AJ delivered. AJ brought it. A 5-fight parlay. Very impressive. A lot of fights. Bringing it. I like it, AJ. I love it.
You do. That's
He's
that's
going
big,
with
man. If Dave
yeah,
likes
it's fun, man. It's fun. It's a good parlay. Luis Rodriguez over Ode Osborne. Alexa Grasso over Valentina Shevchenko. Daniel Zellhuber over Esteban Ribovic. Sean Sugar O'Malley over Merab Dvalishvili. And Diego Lopes over Brian Ortega. T-City 20 gets you 233.44 over at bet99.com.
Wow, that's a good payout, man.
That is a solid payout and a solid parlay from Team AJ for UFC 306. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't really disagree with much on that parlay. Like, I think all those fights are winners. They're all favorites. I think they all win. It's actually a pretty decent parlay, AJ. I'm not so...
The payout is pretty impressive,
But since
man,
AJ
for, like...
took it, it won't come out. Everybody knows it.
I don't know,
AJ.
man.
So,
And I'll tell you what, man.
everything I said
you
It
say
won't
that?
come out because
I don't know.
Huh?
I think this might be one where he comes out. He's got 5 favorites. They all make sense to me. Like, I don't know. Like, this one feels like it could work.
Oh,
like,
man.
most of AJ's parlays, when he drops
Ozzy's
them, I
gonna
go,
fuck it up.
maybe.
Ozzy's gonna fuck it up for him.
Ozzy.
Somebody's gonna fuck it up. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you where it's
Listen,
gonna fuck
man,
it up. I'm
gonna
going
break
with
all my
Brian
Black Sabbath
Ortega,
albums.
man.
Yeah.
I'm going with Brian Ortega, man. His last fight against Yair, he looked very good. And you mentioned 3 losses. One of his losses is an injury against Yair, and his 2 other losses are against Holloway and Volkanovski. So
Yeah.
let's give him a break on his losses. And he looked very good in his last fight. And yes, Lopez, young prospect. If he beats Ortega, definitely a contender. He's probably a contender already, man. But this is the biggest matchup for him he's had, man. Because I look at like Ige, Yusuf. I'm forgetting who else he fought recently, but it's not at
He's
the
got a lot
level
of
of
fights.
Ortega. Ortega's
And he-
another level to me. So
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
he's
go
got a
with
lot of
Brian
fights.
Ortega, and yeah, oh, it's gonna look. It's gonna be a great fight. That's why I was saying I'm interested in your opinion on the fight. I think this might be fight of the night, or it's like the most intriguing fight for people that know MMA, because if you know MMA, you know both guys, and this is a good matchup. So I'm gonna go with Ortega, and I'm putting him on my parlay. I'm gonna go with Grasso because I do agree. I think Valentina's done, and I'm gonna go with Merab. So that's my 3-fight parlay for Freddie.
Freddie keeping it nice and simple. Grasso, Merab, and T-City, Brian Ortega. I also think Ortega's going to pick up the win. I don't know if I'd put it on my parlay. I think at plus 155, I might throw it.
So why do you think AJ's
single bet?
ain't gonna win, man? If you think Ortega's gonna win, you think AJ's parlay's gonna lose.
Did he put Diego
Don't be
Lopez
scared,
on there?
Dave.
Did he
I
put
said
Diego
Lopez,
Lopez?
man.
Oh, okay.
He's the rising.
Oh,
Listen,
no,
man,
that's
he's
going to
the
screw
rising
it up.
star.
That's going to screw it up, AJ.
I don't think so, man. Like,
No, I think Ortega's going to win.
I think it's gonna go to a decision. I think Lopez has what it takes. Even his grappling is phenomenal. Let's not forget that. And then that's like, Ortega's striking has improved, but Lopez's striking is just natural. The guy is on his feet. He's very dangerous, and on the ground, man, he's a dangerous grappler. And I think that he's just moving up as Ortega is kind of like sliding down. And when you look at the overall experience, you look at Lopez, he has 31 fights in his pocket to 20 for Brian Ortega. So the guy, even though he's a rising star, he's got a lot of experience under his belt. It's going to be a close fight. I think you're right about this being one of the fight of the night, and I can see it happening, but I just don't see T-City being able to do it against Lopez.
It's an interesting fight. Yeah. But I got Ortega. I love the way Ortega came out against Yair Rodriguez in his last fight. He looked incredible. He looked like the Brian Ortega that could be a world champion. And Diego Lopez has looked good, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he beats Ortega. Like Fred was saying, levels to the game, and I think Ortega's just, a few steps ahead. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley on my parlay, and I'm going to try and give you something else. I'm not going to put Ortega on there. I think it's risky to put on a parlay. I would throw a single bet on Ortega. I also like a single bet on Ignacio Bahamondes over Manuel Torres. Bahamondes has been training with, he's one of the main training partners of the world champion at 170, Bilal Muhammad. Bilal is there with Bahamondes. I think that's a really solid pick. Plus 100 right now, Ignacio Bahamondes over Manuel Torres. I'd go with Bahamondes. I may even throw him on my parlay. I'm trying to give you guys a parlay right now as we speak, and it's kind of tricky. How about this?
Do it, Dave. Let's do it.
It'll be a 3-fight parlay from me. It'll be Sean O'Malley. It'll be Alexa Grasso, and it'll be Ignacio Bahamondes at plus 100 to spice things up on this parlay. So there it is. There's a Team Dave parlay. 20 gets you 121.21. That's a good sign over at bet99.com. Bahamondes, Grasso, O'Malley. And, of course, when we say Grasso, we have to say the famous line, Te faccio culo così. Grasso. So there it is. There's the Team Dave parlay, the Team Fred parlay, the Team AJ parlay for UFC 306. The fights almost as important as the venue itself. I think the venue is getting more play than the fights. You see what they're calling this thing? Riyadh season, UFC Noche, UFC 306, da-da-da. It's like, what the hell is all this? UFC, they're like Riyadh season. They call it Riyadh season. They're promoting Saudi Arabia with this, but it's in Vegas at the Sphere. I don't know what the hell this is. But it's Mexican Independence Day, Riyadh season, the Sphere, technology, and Sean O'Malley for some reason. Like, there's a lot. And Merab Dvalishvili. Like, neither of those guys are Mexican. Although O'Malley's married to a Mexican lady, and his kid is half Mexican, I guess.
Is he? Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think so, yeah. So,
nice.
Almost.
So there's some, yeah. He's...
Alexa Grasso's Mexican. There's a lot of Mexican fighters on this card, of course. But
Lopez?
There's just like a lot of weird
Ortega?
promotion going into this one. The building is going to be cool. I look forward to seeing what it all looks like, right? I think that's going to be half the fun of this show. Just the Sphere and what that looks like. I've seen videos of the Sphere and what that looks like for different events, but for the UFC, it's going to have their own special production, so that'll be cool to see.
It's going to be wild, man.
Yeah.
I read Dana saying that he didn't expect because it's an LED screen all over the place, like, basically. And he said, like, I don't expect it to bother the fighters, but I do wonder. It has to look like for your senses and everything. If you're the fighter, must be a little weird.
Yeah. But I think when you're in the cage, you kind of laser focus on your opponent. I honestly think it'll be less distracting for the fighters than it will be for everybody else that isn't fighting. You know, like if you're watching on TV or live there, I think you're going to be like looking at the screens like, oh, what else is going on? And then you're like, oh, yeah, there's a fight going on. Like, I wonder what that's going to be like for us just watching it on TV. How much are we going to be looking at the Sphere and the screens and the stuff going on, and how much are we going to be looking at the fight itself? I don't know. It's interesting. It's a weird new area that we're in, right?
And with
venues
that
are
Sphere,
changing.
And with that Sphere, you can see it from the outside, right? So the public can probably get like some highlights or whatnot, like on the Vegas Strip. Am I correct?
I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, we don't know anything. They're keeping it all secret about how it's all going to work. We'll find out on Saturday.
It's Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Look, I'm sure if you're there live, it's going to be spectacular. I mean, it's going to be a real event. But you've got a point. Like, it depends on how much things are going on the inside. Because I've seen a few things, especially with the NHL draft when we were watching. Well, I was watching it, and I know Angelo was. And it was, like, freaky. But you know what? You brought up a point. I didn't think about that. You know, if there's a lot of that movement going on, you know, you're right. They'll focus on the fight, mano to mano. But, you know, on the corner, you know, the peripheral vision at times can be, you know, sort of tricked. And I don't know, man. It could be interesting if it doesn't take some fighters off the game.
We'll see. We'll see how it works. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But it's going to be a big event Saturday night. We'll be here Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for the UFC 306 watch along. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis in the chat. He says Team Dave always wins. And then Johnny North goes, not with the AEW picks, Angelo. Hey, shut up, John. How about that? How about AEW All Out? I picked every single match correct. So the last AEW pay-per-view, I was correct on everything. So stick it up your ass, Johnny North. Deal with it. Fucking guy.
Dave, I gotta just say something.
He's trying to heckle me from the side. You know that's what Johnny does. He tries to attack. He tries to heckle. He's in the chat talking smack. He'll be with me tomorrow night. You can talk to me face to face tomorrow night, Johnny North. Wrestling Uncensored.
Listen, I just gotta say something. I got a comment there. Why is my shirt ripped? If you can see it, that was ripped by the famous 10th Planet.
Renato
Renato Laranja. I think he has like 17 or 20 like stripes on his belt. He's like the greatest of all time, man, in jiu-jitsu.
27-time world champion.
7-time world champion. You know, lover of lovers. 27. Jesus, I didn't realize it was that high. So basically, he ripped my shirt back in the days, and I decided, like, you know, I could still pay for it after the rip. So it wasn't really cool, but hey, that's life. But a very nice guy, by the way.
Nice. Johnny North says, great. Going to Habs game October 12th, 14th, and December 17th. Johnny 3, Dave 0.
Johnny's got the Bucks.
So Johnny's going to 3 Canadians games, and I'm going to 0. Is that the score, Johnny? Are we scoring
Somebody's making the Bucks.
I mean, you could run up the score all day on that. I think you're going to kill me in that game, John. If we're counting how many Canadians hockey games we go to this season, I think you'll beat me because I plan to go to 0, and I guess you're planning to go to at least 3. I don't see why. You know, if somebody goes, hey,
listen,
you want to
Johnny,
go to see the Canadians tonight? I'd be like, yeah, probably not.
No.
Ask somebody who would want to go. No, I would
Johnny,
deny
if you get an extra ticket, I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
go
I would
sure,
say,
man.
no, don't take me. Take my friend AJ. He would prefer it. Take Johnny North. Take someone else, literally anyone.
I'll buy the hot dogs, Johnny,
but
and
me,
the beer.
I don't
It'll
need
cost
to
me
go.
$100, but that's the problem with the Bell Center, man. It's so expensive. You get 2 hot dogs and 2 beers, and then you're like somewhere around the $75 mark. I mean, it's ridiculous. And that's what kills me. You know, I mean, like the UFC at times, you know, their ticket prices are like through the roof, you know, but you know, their nosebleed seats are still pretty affordable. But at the Bell Center, nosebleeds are still like, well, depending which fight, but generally like nosebleeds are, you know, pretty affordable.
It's pretty expensive for hockey.
Last time they went to Toronto, the UFC, I think the nosebleeds were like a couple $100. Like,
yeah, UFC is really expensive now too. Everything's expensive.
Yeah, but it depends on the fight, you know.
Yeah, these fights, like Leor was saying, the card is not that great. You know, there's like 2 or 3 fights on this card that's good, and then the rest of it is kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of newcomers that are to the scene. Like, you know, when you're looking at that card, you're looking at Rodriguez or Zellhuber or Ozzy Osbourne and Ribovics. I mean, they're names that are not really, you know, present to MMA, like, you know, fans. So he's right. Leor, I said it from the beginning. I was hoping with this UFC 306, I said it way back. I was like, this is the type of card, especially like introducing the Sphere and all the Cirque du Soleil kind of like, you know, kind of show. You would need somebody like a Conor on this, and that would have pumped a lot of pay-per-view sales. You know, you needed somebody like a John Jones, you know, a Pereira. Like with a name like that on this card, pay-per-view sales would have went through the roof, and it would have really been a show. But I don't think their sales are going to be that great. And Leor's right. Like it's a great fight for MMA fans, but it's not for like the everyday fans who are going to pay money to see this. But they would have for Conor, and they would have for John Jones, and they probably would have for Pereira as well. But yeah, it's going to be good. But it's not a great card.
I think the next card is better, top to bottom. Like as far as quality of fights, like up and down the card. The next UFC pay-per-view 307, Alex Pereira, Khalil Roundtree main event. Maybe not as great as a main event as O'Malley and Merab. But then you've got the co-main is Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena, which is pretty nice. Then you've got Wonderboy Thompson against Joaquin Buckley, Jose Aldo against Mario Bautista, Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland, Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evloev, Ketlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Like, you got some big names on this
crazy.
card.
And that's on the prelim? That's
I mean,
ridiculous. That's
a lot of it is pay-per-view,
that's-
right? A lot of those will be on pay-per-view. But some of them will be on
but
prelims.
I think the most of those ones that you mentioned right now are on prelim. And that's the crazy part. Like their main card still doesn't have like a
Like
full main
Kayla
card.
Harrison
But
and
the
Aljo
prelims-
might not be on the pay-per-view. Which is nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like UFC 307 and even UFC 308, kind of better cards overall. UFC 308 looks amazing. UFC 308 is in it's either in Saudi Arabia or it's in Abu Dhabi. That one's in October in Abu Dhabi. They've got Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway main event, right, for the featherweight belt. Then you've got Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev, Cyril Gann,
That's
Alexander
crazy.
Volkov, Magomed
Amazing.
Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Like, dude.
This should have been 306
Ooh.
with O'Malley. You know what I'm saying?
Wait.
This should have been
We'll wait.
306.
We got a month. It's October 26th. Don't worry. We'll wait. It'll be in Abu Dhabi, and it'll be nasty. Ooh. Khamzat
Well,
versus
if it's in Abu
Whittaker.
Dhabi,
Cyril Gann versus Alexander Volkov. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. And the main event, Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria.
that's ridiculous.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
Oh,
That's
shit,
crazy.
son. Damn.
And the good thing is, it'll be an afternoon fight for us, right?
Probably, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because
so
they don't do that middle of the night shit in Abu Dhabi. They don't treat the
No,
Abu
man.
Dhabi fans like they do the English. They respect the Abu
No, they
Dhabi
don't.
fans. We're like, we'll do things on your time, sir.
everybody in white, man, in the
Shout
seats.
out
But
GP Negron in the chat. He says, I like all the picks. Great analyzing. I agree. A little nervous for Lopes because he can fall into Brian's BJJ, and I don't trust
That's
anyone
true.
on the ground with Ortega. That's for
But
sure.
he's a
That
dangerous
is,
grappler. Lopez is a dangerous grappler. Let's not forget that. He's
of
like
course.
he's no chump change. And if anybody is going to be able to defend against T City, it's Lopez. So I'm still going with Lopez on this fight, especially for the striking part.
Big fights, UFC 306 coming up on Saturday night. And, of course, we have a watch-along, and I want to thank all the viewers and all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net for supporting the channel and keeping us alive. People like Angelo Contagonis, people like Lior, people like CSL, Lorne, and so many more over at join.ringsidereport and membership.ringsidereport.net. And for more support, you can check out our good friends over here.
We will return to Ringside Report MMA in just a moment. But first, here is a word from one of our affiliated sponsors.
I need to tell you about our friends over at X Marshall. The roar of the crowd thrums in your ears, and the lights seem impossibly bright. You stand in the octagon, the center of a universe focused on one thing: combat. Unlike a gladiator of old, you're not limited to a single weapon. In the ever-evolving world of MMA, success hinges on mastering a diverse arsenal, striking, takedowns, ground control, and submissions. But where do you begin? Fear not, aspiring fighter. X-Marshal is your corner man. Inspired by legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov, our gear is designed to withstand the most intensive training regimens, from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling to MMA. Made with a quality mixture of materials, our products feature reinforced seams with double flat lock stitching and gel panel technologies for maximum comfort. We provide high-quality rash guards and cost-effective gear and services. X-Marshal stands out as the flashiest and fastest-growing brand in the jiu-jitsu community. People wanted cool gear, and X-Marshal delivered with style and swankiness that made everyone go, wow. With 300 sponsored athletes and tens of thousands of dollars in gear and cash giveaways, X-Marshal reinvests a healthy chunk of its profits back into the community that fueled its growth. Check out the Dojo Roadshow, where the X-Marshal team travels the U.S. in an RV, visiting gyms, taking on challenges, and hanging out with jiu-jitsu legends. They meet athletes, have challenges, and sponsor them along the way. It's not just gear, it's a movement. Buckle up and roll with X-Marshal right now. you get 15% off the entire store at xmarshall.com using the code Ringside at checkout. Stand bold, stand out, X Marshall.
Wow,
Yes, indeed.
good stuff, Dave. You're such a pro, bro. That's amazing.
I like how
Wow.
you applaud the pre-recorded commercial every time that I do it. It's like I
Yeah,
didn't do anything.
But every time I watch it, I'm
Oh,
looking
I
at that.
thought
I'm
you
looking at some of
changed
the fights, and I'm
T-shirts
like,
very
damn.
quick, man. Damn.
Dave
Didn't
is
know it
like
was
super
pre-recorded.
fast, man. The Flash.
I'm talented.
From orange
I'm
to
a
blue,
talented
man.
guy. Yeah.
Just like that sharp guy.
So, guys, before we wrap up, you guys, I'm very excited, not really for the football season, NFL football, but for the Super Bowl, because I found out Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl halftime show. Lots of controversy. People are upset. Fred is upset for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's great. Kendrick is one of the greatest artists going today, so I'm a big fan. I'm excited. I think the show will be a lot of fun. Fred, what's the
You have
matter?
a nip slip,
You're
like-
an OVO supporter? What's going on? You love Drake? What's happening?
Nope.
So why don't you like
Just
it? ¿Qué pasa?
because I don't really like Kendrick Lamar. I'm indifferent to Kendrick Lamar, man. I'm too old for him, man. Super Bowl should be for it should be for every generation, and I feel like they're letting go people my age, man. So yeah, that show
Who
sucks, man.
Yeah,
Could
man.
they
good
get that would be
point.
for every
Like,
generation? Who is a every generation artist?
Bon Jovi. Eminem.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mariah
I think you
Carey.
lose a
Look at
lot of
AJ,
people.
man.
I think you
With
want to get
Eminem?
younger people too, guys.
Houdini. Yeah, well, that's what you get, man.
They did Dr.
The
Dre a
Slim
couple years
Shady.
ago. Eminem was there. They can't go back.
No, but you gotta do like Eminem himself with his new album and everything. Come on, Dave. Like the greatest show ever for Super Bowl was Michael Jackson, in my opinion. But hey, that's real talent.
I think Kendrick will put on a good show. I like it. I heard people
Can't
were
dance like
upset.
MJ.
All I heard is that people were mad that they didn't pick Lil Wayne because it's going to be in New Orleans, and they thought that Lil Wayne should get it instead. Would you
Lil
be
Wayne.
Fred? What do you think about Lil Wayne instead of Kendrick? No,
Not better.
you don't think that's better? Worse?
Nope.
Same?
Equal.
Equal. Yeah. I think yes, Johnny. Marshall Mathers and LL Cool J did release a
Listen
song.
to
I
the
talked
show,
about it
Johnny.
earlier on the show, John. Why don't you pay attention to what we're doing? I already talked about it, John. Did
So
a
I
whole
say,
bit
like,
about
since you're
LL.
mad at John, I'm a little jealous because in the pre-show, like countdown, man, I saw he has his own collection. What's that about, man? Why don't
Yeah, how
I
come-
have a collection?
Yeah, how come there's
Yeah, why
Johnny
doesn't
North
Freddie
t-shirts for
have a
sale
collection
and
in
no
Hollywood
like
AJ?
AJ shirts or Fred
Fuck you,
shirts?
Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't
that's
even
not
a
cool.
Dave shirt, guys. There's no Dave shirt either.
Well, let's get some. Listen, I want an AJ shirt now and underwear.
Need to talk to my agent.
Yeah.
I think it's me.
Get some
I
AJ
think I'm
thongs.
your agent.
Come on, Dave.
That is a good point. How come there's Johnny North shirts, but like no shirts of any of us? What about us? What about me?
Well, because Johnny is a star. Let's be honest, man. Everybody
Yeah.
knows Johnny North.
I know.
Genesis.
I
Who
think it's
doesn't
because
know
he's
him?
the most
Everybody I talk
jacked.
to-
We just put the most jacked
He is
guy
the
we
most
have
jacked.
on a shirt. We're like, oh, Fred's coming close, John. Watch out. Oh,
Look at that.
shit. Oh,
Look at
my
those.
God.
Look at that.
It's like Lex
TRT,
Luger
baby.
is back.
TRT.
Oh, my God.
So
This
then you
guy.
got to get Freddie like sort of like the Italian like t-shirts, you know?
Can we get a
Show the bicep t-shirt.
Could we do
I want
like
an
a
AJ thong.
jacked Freddy t-shirt? Like just like ripped like Fred, you know, like just
Yeah, man.
Fred posing jacked on a t-shirt? That'd be dope.
With,
Be
with,
like-
with a Trump picture as well, man. That's what you need for Freddie. And I
Yo,
want the
we can
thong.
make custom
putting in
Fred
my
rash
request for a
guards with
thong.
jacked Fred on the rash guard and be like Fred Jitsu, and then we just make them and we sell Fred. We could all be wearing Fred Jitsu rash guards at Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm down.
Fred Jitsu, bro.
Listen, get the producer to get on the horn and let's do it, man.
Yo, we need to get a nice image of posing Muscle Fred, put that shit on a t-shirt, on a rash guard specifically from our friends over at X Marshall, and have it say Fred Jitsu. I would wear... Man, how many do you think we could sell at 10th Planet, Fred? Several, right? I mean, come on. The boys would all want one. You don't think?
Fred Jitsu.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yo, make some of them buy them. Be like, yo, buy one or else. Just bully some guys
give
into
them for
buying
free,
rash
maybe.
guards. You gotta wear this shit, bro. Huh?
Promo material,
maybe
man.
if we give them for free.
Yeah, maybe. I'll trade one to Mick for the morning crew one. You know, just 2 rash guard trades to people. It's not a bad move. Not a bad move.
But
okay,
back to
guys.
your sponsor, X Marshall. That's some pretty nice stuff, by the way.
Well,
Just
I'm happy that Kendrick Lamar is gonna be
what are you
doing the
talking about,
Super
Kendrick?
Bowl. AJ doesn't know who Kendrick Lamar is. Fred actually went to a Kendrick Lamar concert with me, but I think we were both too high to remember it. But it was fun. I think it was a good time. But not as
Every time
Fred,
I
I
hear
will
that-
say, Fred, we went to Kendrick Lamar and we also went to Drake together for some reason. I don't
Drake
know
was
what we were
better.
thinking. We had like a year where we're like, let's go to concerts, and it was fun. You know, we just haven't done it since.
But
I
I'm
think
gonna
we
tell you
got
something,
kids.
Dave. Every
The
time you
kids got
say-
in the way, right? You know what I mean? The kids got in the way. We used to have
Listen,
more
you know
fun
what?
before the small kids. Hold on, AJ. I'm telling a goddamn story here. We went to Drake.
Yeah, but it's
We also
boring.
went to Kendrick. I think we had a better time at the Drake concert, though, didn't we?
Of course.
Yeah, we did. It was more fun.
Listen, dude, you might be too young to hear this, but every time you say Kendrick Lamar, I think of Hendrick Lamar. You know who Hendrick Lamar is? Maybe Freddie will know.
No.
That's why I get confused every time you say that name. I'm like, who is it? Is he talking about the guy from Blazing Saddles? A Mel Brooks film? Hendrick Lamar?
Are you sure that was his name?
Isn't it?
That's pretty close.
I believe it was Hendrick Lamar.
Hendrick Lamar?
One of the greatest movies ever, man. Blazing
That seems
Saddles.
unlikely.
If anyone hasn't seen it, you got to watch it.
I am looking up the name Hendrick Lamar, and the only thing that is coming up is Kendrick Lamar. So I think you got that wrong.
Oh, it's an old film, dude. Do Blazing Saddles. Just find out if the character was Hendrick Lamar.
Headley Lamar.
Well, I was close. Headley, that's it. That's the only Lamar I know, bud.
Headley Lamar is the guy's name. Not
He was great.
Hendrick Lamar.
Well, I was close. I got a H right. And I got the Lamar part right.
You didn't get the Hendrick right. I mean, that's off a little
But that's
bit.
the best Lamar, man. Between that singer of yours or Headley Lamar. Blazing Saddles, man. Classic.
GP says put
I'd like to see
Jack
him at the
Fred on
Super
the
Bowl.
sphere. How sick would that be?
That would be
Muscle
great,
Fred
man.
on the sphere. Ooh, baby. Remember I did a video
With his
where I was
hairy
on the
chest,
sphere
man?
promoting the show?
I saw that. That was pretty cool, man.
That was a good video.
Yeah.
Angelo
we got a lot
Contagonis
of,
dropping a super
likes.
chat. He says, great show as always. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, my friend.
Angelo.
And we'll do another great show tomorrow night for you. We have Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night. A lot of pro wrestling to talk about. AEW, WWE, all the stuff going on in the wrestling world. Roman Reigns is supposed to be on SmackDown tomorrow night in Seattle. That'll be interesting to see the Tribal Chief back on SmackDown. I look forward to seeing him, the man, Roman Reigns, and maybe even the Wise Men. I saw them make an appearance together this week, so maybe Heyman and Roman back together on SmackDown. That would be fun. We'll talk about it tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, right after SmackDown. And then the boys will be back here Saturday night for the UFC 306 watch along. We'll watch the pay-per-view with you when the pay-per-view starts. Our show starts, and we'll tell you what's going on. We'll give you the updates. We'll give you the round-by-round, play-by-play, blow-by-blow. You know how it goes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and supporting the Ringside Report Network. We'll see you again real soon. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you